So using the phone and taking the cake pictures are really very easy in the first place, and then it is very handy because we have a mobile phones with us, and a good quality camera which is there in the mobile phone, depending on the brand and the quality of the phone that you are using, that will determine the output of your final photo. So if you are going to choose to use your mobile itself to continue taking your cake pictures, then make sure, in case if you already have it, well and good. If not, when you are going to upgrade your phone, you just ensure that if the camera has a good quality camera to be able to take pictures, if your phone has a good quality camera. Now when you are set with a phone and a good quality camera, the least that you need to do is to make sure you have the lighting set well. Now most of the cameras in the phone will allow you to increase the brightness and then decrease the brightness by just swiping and then touching on that particular subject in the frame that you are going to set. Now I am actually going to show you how to use a phone and then take the pictures. Before that, you need to understand a good quality camera in the phone is very important, and in the following lessons I am going to explain the angles in which you need to take the pictures. So I have the phone now, and that is a Vivo, and the quality of the camera in this phone is quite good. You could use any phone with a good quality camera for taking the pictures. Now I am going to show you how to actually take the three angles using the phone. We know the three most important angles are the eye level, the bird eye and the dead top. So we will finish that, and then I am going to show you the close-up shots how we could do. Okay. So now I am just getting the camera, and you know, for the eye level I have explained the surface of the cake, and then the camera's angle has to be really very parallel to each other. You cannot be tilting them, because the shape of the cake, instead of being a cylinder, it will look like tapered or a boat shape. To avoid that, holding the camera very parallel to the surface of the sides of the cake is very important. So I am just going to hold it right in front of the cake, and in the level of the cake have a space on the left and the right side, and on the bottom a bit, and then on the top is what I have quite a good amount of space. So this amount of spacing on the left and the right, and then quite a good amount of space on the top is very important. Now if you have to take a picture like that and a bit of the reflector or the window is seen, that you can get it cropped during editing. For right now, what you need to focus on is the spacing on the left and the right, and then on the top, but then on the bottom you just need a little bit on the bottom, and then all around you need quite a bit. Now later on you could just zoom or crop it, so to avoid the window that is just caught up in the angle. Now once the eye level is done, the next thing that I am going to do, so this was the eye level parallel holding, right, and then get to the top and then tilt the camera, which is the phone here, and you can just click there. Also in this process you need to understand whether spacing below the cake, how much do you have. You don't want too much space below the cake, right. So I am just going to do that step again. That was the eye level. Okay. From the eye level I am just going to go up and then tilt my camera, and I am having a equal visibility for the top and the sides. I could capture the photo like that with that excess space below the cake, but I could move a little up, and that way I am just going to reduce the space below and then have more space above the cake. So that will be the bird eye, and that way what happens, if there was a decoration on top, that is going to be visible. Now let me take one more bird eye. So the one bird eye that you should avoid doing is to go very close to the cake, and that is going to give you a cake that does not look like a cylinder. I just want to take one of that picture to show you the spacing on both the sides is very important. If you do not have that much of spacing, the cake is going to look it is in the boat shape. So you need to step a bit backwards and then take a picture. Now if the cake has more work on the top and not much on the sides, then you could just tilt the angle a bit more like that. It is like beyond the 45 degrees, and then take a picture. So what happens, the sides take lesser visibility and then the top has more visibility. Now I am going to take one more that has the bird eye, but the sides have more visibility and then the top has a bit less. There you can see 60% or 75% the sides are more visible here than the top. So the bird eye, depending on what kind of cake you've done, whether you're going to give equal visibility, whether the sides and the top have equal kind of work that you want to show. Now this is equal visibility. On the side you can see how much space the sides taken and how much space the top is taken as well. So depending on what you want to show on the cake, the bird eyes angle could change. Okay. So now I am going to take the dead top. I am just going to keep the phone right parallel to the top of the cake and then just make sure I am holding the camera straight above and then take a picture where the cake circle part is just completely seen and none of the sides of the cake is seen. Now if there was a work like a painting on top of the cake, then this angle is very important. For right now, the angles that are important for this particular cake is the eye level, the bird eye, where we are just going to expose the sides because the work is there on the sides. I am also now going to show how we are going to capture a two-tiered cake which is a bit taller. So, you know how much spacing is needed and how we are going to do. So, I have here a tall cake, it is a themed cake, you can see the elements there and then there is a tall tree as well. So, I am just going to show what it needs to take a picture of the tall cake. Now, if you are just going to hold, where you are going to hold because it is like quite tall, right. So, where are we going to hold? Now, if you are going to be there, then the elements on the bottom are not going to be in frame. So, you have to hold the camera which is somewhere in the middle of the cake right here, not so because anywhere within the height of the cake is you could stay there because that is the eye level, right. But then if you have a tall cake, just choose a part which is in the middle and then have the camera right straight up there, which will capture the details of the top tier as well on the bottom tier. So, I am just going to click and then you have the picture here where there is space, enough space on both the sides and a little space on the bottom and then on the top. Now, that the BG is stuck which was set for the shorter cake, right, and we could still take it up and then stick a little taller. So, you can have more space above as well. So, I am just going to click a bird eye now. So, eye level is done. So, I am just going to hold up for the eye level and then take it up and then slant it and now I have the eye level. I am just going to go a little close as well and then click. So, for a tiered cake, a bird eye is going to show the top as well and then the sides. So, the next bird eye, how much of exposure can I have? So, I am holding, tilting the phone. So, this was the angle which I had taken before, right, the one click before, and now I am just going to even tilt it furthermore. So, more of the top is seen. So, that is also one angle that is going to show the details on the top of the cake. However, for a tall tiered cake, the most important angle that is going to show the work of the cake is the eye level. So, now you could get a little close or you could just get a little far away. Okay, so this is the eye level and that is going to have all the details of the cake. Now, if I have to take the close-ups, then you just get a little near and you just need to tap on the element which you think you need to take a close-up of. I have just taken the close-up of the Humpty, okay, and that is how it looks. Now, I am just going to go a little further ahead and then keeping the Humpty in the frame, I am just focusing on the tree to show the tree's textures, which is the picture that you see here. Also, for the brick, you could just go have the Humpty also in frame, but then focus, double tap on the brick and then take a texture. picture where you are going to show the textures that are there on the cake. I am also going to just go in and then take the sides where the wooden plank that are there, a bit of the brick is seen and then the wooden plank is also seen with that moss that is there. Okay. Now, this is a picture where the close-ups are seen. Now, depending on how much light is there, with a phone you can tap and then just increase the brightness before taking the picture itself. Depending on how much of light you need, you can alter the picture depending on what phone you are using also matters. So, you can just brighten up as you are going to do the take the picture if the light is just going to fade down, and if there is too much light and if it is bleaching, while taking the picture you can just reduce the, just tap and then reduce the brightness as well. Okay, and just get it a little darker if you think the colors are going to bleach. So, we have just learned how to use a phone and then take pictures of the 3 different angles and then the close up of a single tiered cake and then a double tiered cake as well. Now, once we have learned how to take the pictures, now we have to start editing them.